What's up, folks? I got a Nissan Altima. I don't even know the year. I think it's like a '08 or something. It's got a 2.5 engine in here. I think this should be 2.5. It has a misfire. Which cylinder? I don't know. I ain't even scanned the car yet, but I'm gonna do some basic stuff. I'm not even gonna use a scan tool today to assess what's going on. So this might be a little long-winded, like all my videos are, even with information and tools and stuff. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know what's up with it, but we're going to be basic today. So it does misfire. I'm going to let you hear it. The first thing I'm going to do once I let you hear it is I'm going to disconnect the battery and reconnect it and see if that misfire persists or not. So let's hear it first and then go from there. I don't know how bad that camera was vibrating. It's really starting to miss now. One thing you notice, it misfires down low, more of an idle than it do with been revving up. So which lead me to suspect we may have arcing. So it's misfiring right now below 1,000 RPM. So I'm gonna rev it up, and if it continues to misfire down low and clears up at a higher RPM, that's the indication that we have arcing. There we go, missing again. Well, the first thing I want to do was disconnect the battery, but I'm changing my mind on that because I thought with this vehicle maybe it may disable the injector when it detected misfire, but with this vehicle it seemed that it doesn't because it clear up and then comes back. So if it's intermittent, I shouldn't have to disconnect the battery and reconnect it because one thing's missing: fuel or fire. Being that can't get it right, being that it's very hard, it's going to be a coil likely, or maybe even a spark plug. It's rare that I just have a spark plug only fail, but you never know. Let me get my tools together. I got a 5mm hex. I'm gonna pull that out, and I should only have to use a 10mm for the coil. All right, let's pull this off. And the next thing we can do is just, because I'm gonna put plugs in here anyway. The customer want to tune up in the oil change, so I'm gonna pull all those coils, tower bolts out, and then we can start up and disconnect each individual coil while it's running and misfiring to determine which cylinder is misfiring. So let's isolate the cylinders that way. It's 10mm. All right, let's get it started. Take your pick. I think it's number 2. I'm taking a guess. 1, 2. No, I was wrong. 3, 4. I don't know. It seemed like it was. It's missing now. Now I did notice it's arcing on number 1. Let me show you that up close. Woo. Shut down. But it's arcing at number 1. Let me start it back up. Let me go to number 2. So if I let number 2 sit up, it's okay. So this is questionable. If I push it down, then it starts misfiring. So we possibly have like some arcing issues with this. So number 1 and number 2 coils are questionable. The number 2 though is our primary problem. Look at that. Yep, look at that. Just saw it. Let me show you. I didn't pull the coil all the way out, but I saw it. I saw that. That's a arcing. Look at that. Damn, that is like so common. Oh man. So common. A customer just called a little while ago, but man, this is just common. Like the symptoms that it had was like arcing. That's why when I lift up on it ever so slightly, what did it do? If I lift up on it, the spring is going to come down a little bit, but I guess, well, the plug is arcing because it sits down on the plug. We'll pull the plug out and look at it because it was pushed down. That spark plug is arcing, so the plugs need to be replaced. So logically, when I pull that plug out, I should see a black mark also. I got like everybody and their grandma calling my phone, literally. So, all right. So we found the arc there. I need to pull the spark plug out, and I should see a black speck where it's arcing from the spark plug, and we can look at the condition of the spark plug. And then we'll pull number 1. So let's see what number 1 coil looks like. And this is saturated in oil on the top of it. So this could potentially be the conductor. If I separate the coil tower from the boot, I'll probably be able to see oil inside of it. Likely not, but if I do, this oil can make the rubber weak and cause arcing also. So that's probably why we had the arcing conditions at the top of the coil here. Oil saturate, make the rubber soft. Over time with vibration, heat, and cold and hot cycles, it'll weaken. And electricity travel to the point of least resistance, and this being a conductor is just going to jump. That's why it jumped when I lift the coil up, even though this wasn't the primary cause of the misfire. Now, what I could do is just simply change the boots. And I could put a amp clamp to this, look at the state of health, compare it to the 2 that are working. And if this coil is strong, like the other 2, got nice current ramps, I could, no, look at that. Let me see if I can get down in there. I want to say this is, no. Yeah, I'm just going to replace these coils. Better safe than sorry. I'm not trying to prove a point on the internet, but this should explain why these 2 coils are defective. This one's defective because of the arcing. That right there. I'm gonna zoom in better. Come on here. Yep. Look at that right there. And this one, it's gonna be a little difficult to look and see where it's arcing from, but this one is the boot just bad. So I could just replace the coil on one and the boot on the other, but I also could just put boots on here. This is a very tough decision here to make because of the age of the car and the mileage. Do you just leave the factory coils on there because they're better than the aftermarket potentially just being inefficient and failing prematurely in comparison to the old factory coils? Now, this is the dilemma I have to go through on a regular basis. I want to make this long and drawn out, but that's what I'm thinking of. Change the boots with new ones and leave the factory coils on here, or just change the entire coil. And because something happened, I can just warranty the entire coil. Tough. Let's pull those plugs out. Damn, is that loose? I think I'm using the wrong socket. Yeah, I am using the wrong socket. It's gonna be a 14. I say, why does it feel like that? Yeah. We're those people that absolutely hate me using an impact gun on these spark plugs. I was supposed to fire myself a while ago, but unfortunately, my boss hired me back. He didn't care if I used impacts. Now I gotta find my light. There you go. So here's number one. We can see the spark plug is worn out. There's compression seeping through the porcelain where it's pressed in with the hex housing. These are NGK. Now I expect to see number two to have a broken boot, not a broken boot, but a insulator porcelain. This should be cracked. So this number one. Let's pull number two out. Let's see if they're correct, and we can line up the coil. Here we go. See if I know what I'm talking about. And yeah, I do, but I was wrong as far as the location. This is arcing at the plug tower here. Look at that. I've never seen that before. Usually it breaks at the boot. I mean, not the boot, but the at the porcelain here. Crack. You'll see like a hairline, little crack. Let's see if I can turn this light off to help with detail. Look at that. That's crazy. What are the odds of this? And that's where it matches up at when it sits down in there. It jumps from here through here and to the ground, which is in the plug wheel. That's crazy, man. It's the first time for everything. Like I said, normally it cracks in this porcelain here. You'll see a little hairline crack, but it jumped from the plug tower here through the boot. It's crazy. Now, I could honestly just change the boots, and I'm really contemplating on doing that. Let me pull this apart and see what this looked like on the inside here. Oh, shoot. There's a resistor. Let's see if I can get that to feel. There's a resistor here in the plug tower. It sits down in there. Oh, shoot. It doesn't matter. Because if I buy a boot, it'll come with one. So it arced at the tower. I'm just gonna change this entire coil. I will feel better, because if this is cracked and I don't see it, I'd rather be safe than sorry. This is not the proof point with the internet that I'm extremely smart. So smart that I still use an impact gun to pull plugs out. But we know what the problem is. Now, one, I could literally change the boot on. Number two, leave that back in there. And I could just change one entire coil. I think I might take that route. Change one boot and one coil. Let me think about this. But in the meantime, let's pull 3 and 4 out. Now, it doesn't make a difference if you, oh, look at that. This valve cover needs to be replaced too. It's oil. Yeah, I could just change all these boots. Might just take that route. Change one coil and 3 boots. But it's kind of soft. It's gonna be oil on this one. Yep, look at that. Now the parents of this kid's car, they just like, screw it, just fix the minimum. That's kind of how they feel about it. I'm like, well, we can fix this right, but at the same time, we're going to eventually have some problems. So I might just leave that in there. So when we do this right, then we can put new coil boots on that cylinder there. Number 4, it's got oil on because you pull it up through a cavity that was housing oil. Here's number 3. Number 3 looks really good for normal high mileage spark plug. Looks normal. All right, let me spray my area, clean this up really good with brake cleaner, and start ordering some parts and get some numbers for my customer. I'm gonna give y'all a fun fact, man. I talk entirely too damn much. I talk a lot. I literally just got back from the park tour. So this is what we got going on. Oh, that's my brother. I got import direct coil. I got a whole coil, and I have 1 boot. So this is what we got. Import direct. Yo. Huh. Like an hour later. All right. What I start off. So I got some boots for the coil. Where's that at? I got talking to my brother all day. So I got a boot. I have a new coil. So the one that was, I gotta get these straightened out. Hold on. Okay. So this was number 1. I put an X on it so I don't forget. This whole entire coil is getting replaced with a new coil. It's an import direct. If y'all know, I frequently patronize AutoZone, O'Reilly's Auto Parts. So here we are. Those who care about part numbers, and they like when I don't show it, they ask, and when I do show it, I mean they don't ask. So there's that box, and I do believe one of these is the boot, one is the coil. So but here's the part numbers here. All right, so we're getting a new coil. And the one that had the arc, this one right there, this is getting the boot. And I'm going to separate this. There's our resistor here. Put that in there. So that goes with that. The new one, here's the aftermarket one. And the resistor is totally different. There's a difference here. I'm gonna probably because that tape there, but this one looks black. Let me get this cut open. So here's the new one, the aftermarket. We got the resistor, we got the spring. Here's the boot. Simply gonna install it. Doesn't matter how it goes in there. Put the resistor here. Everything should go flush. Take my coil. Voila. All right, let's get those plugs in there. All right. You know what I don't have? I don't have my spark plugs. Nope, I don't have spark plugs. All right, when I got my spark plugs, we got some iridiums. Oh yeah, that's what's going back in there. There you go. Who cares? Y'all care. People cares. So I need to go ahead and get this knocked out. So we got the coil, got a new coil, we got a boot, we got our valve cover clean. That looks really nice. I didn't show you that, but I did clean it up really good. I'm gonna get an aerial view after I get these plugs dropped down in there and ran down with my impact gun. Sound of death right there to some people. They don't like that. Look at that. In motion already. I should be fired. This is triggering. It's kind of a pun. Should have triggered some of the folks. They're like, how dare you work on a car and use the impact gun? I know, right? Boom, 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 boom. I really got this area really clean. Too bad the valve cover is just old, need to be replaced. It's gonna get right back dirty. But that's really good. That looks really nice. Put some bug juice on here, or should we just let the engine oil lubricate the spark plugs? So that's our coil over there. Plug. So we're gonna put this here. Let's go put that in one. Let's get this in all of them. That's it. Don't take no more than that. Run these back in there. So I did spray some brake cleaner in there. Some people will frown upon that. Thing is, this has been a couple hours. So despite it being 5 minutes for y'all, minus my talking, it's been a couple hours. That brake cleaner evaporated what was going to evaporate. So I'm fine. It's not going to hydro lock the engine or anything. There are people out there that think that. Whoop. All right, now I'm gonna put the cover back on there. I do want to clean the tops just to make it a little neat. Doesn't matter. That's the only thing I didn't really clean up. All right, let's start it up, and then I gotta change the oil. Yeah, misfired for a little bit, and now it's cleared up. There we go. To burn all that oil off. Cool. All right, It's about 3 minutes later. I got the oil change. For the most part, everything's knocked out. I just got to put the cover back on there, just clean everything up. But let me show you how clean I got the intake. Now I managed to get most of that oil off, but unfortunately it's going to accumulate again anyway. So I was kind of proud of myself. The compressor air and brake cleaner did a little something. But look, I diagnosed this without a scan tool. It was pretty much, I would say it's pretty basic, but I guess it's like a knowledge type thing. Anybody can do this. I mean, honestly, it's like a car whisperer, something like that. But look, if anything happened, I'll definitely update. But hit that link, subscribe to the channel, stay informed on how the original something work, and see you on the next one.